So, being a family that's attempting to be an unschooling family in a city that has homeschooling requirements, meaning we meet with an official from the Baltimore City public school systems. Ours is a really nice woman. She's awesome. But we meet with her twice a year and we present to her samples of our boys' schoolwork, stuff that he's been working on that year, along with a checklist itemizing his requirements in language arts and math and social studies and physical education and music and arts and all these, all the things that are part of the state's education requirements for his grade, or at least the state's education requirements. It doesn't necessarily have to be grade specific. Um, so twice a year, I have to show his progress, show some quizzes that he's taken, feedback that I've given him or he's gotten from various, apps, websites. So I have to have at least enough structure in our lives to fulfill these requirements, but we're attempting to unschool because our family dynamic and our family personalities need flexibility, as much flexibility as possible. So it's part of the process is called deschooling. It means kind of training your brain, training your family, training your structure to be less structured, to accept that work doesn't have to get done today because everything we do is learning. And as long as we understand that everything we do is learning and recognize that at the end of the day, talk about what we learned that day. Talk about the things we did. We went to the store. Talk about the money. Talk about the items. Talk about, product and supply. Talk about whatever, that farm to table, nutrition, wherever that conversation takes us, and understand that so you see that every part of life is learning if you're paying attention. And then on top of that, let's test that. Let's see if you actually grasp that knowledge and let's see if you can apply that knowledge. That is an important skill to learn. So I don't necessarily mind the reviews, the structure. It does make me stay on point as far as testing to see whether or not he's grasping concepts and he knows how to apply them. And the application is the most important part. There's no point in learning a whole bunch of things that you're not going to be able to apply to your actual life. And that's what I feel I did with a lot of school. I learned it to apply to a test, but so much that I learned, I have no concept of how to apply it to actual life until now, where I'm teaching these things to my son. But anyway, in the deschooling process, it also means letting go of concepts, of ideologies, of traditional learning that doesn't work anymore. And today is our co-op day, the day where I been teaching a creative writing and storytelling class to the older kids. And each parent is working, volunteering, helping, teaching a class to a families, families of homeschooling kids, unschooling and homeschooling kids. And it's meant to actually allow a large degree of flexibility in our lives by getting a bunch of topics covered in one day in a learning environment, kid play, peer group, and everything, and have the rest of the week open to work on projects but do our own independent things, whatever kind of field trips, whatever kind of family time, work, whatever. And it is that, aside from the fact that my child, even having been homeschooled his entire life, aside from maybe 3 or 4 months of kindergarten, he's a really high strung kid. He's very anxious. He does not like not fulfilling requirements. Even when we tell him those requirements are really flexible, like, dude, this isn't, you're not going to fail homeschool. You're not going to fail unschool. You're not going to fail in a co-op class. The whole point is just to do a project. And if you get it done, great. And if not, let's show your progress. Let's show what you did, because this is what you're doing. It's not a deadline thing, but he can't. He can't. He cannot let go of that. And he gets wired, and he cries, and he gets upset, and he doesn't know. And so he had a project to work on, and he did the research for the project. It was a nutrition project, not a very difficult project, but informative, working on, they were doing different vitamins. And he had a project to work on. He did the research, but because I had been sick, we didn't finish the actual display of the research. Like, okay, you learned, about the foods, and you learned about the sources and the benefits, and okay, well, we didn't get a chance to, put it on the display. And he wanted to have it for their science fair this evening. And I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. So he wanted to have it for the science fair this evening, but we didn't finish. And he was so frantic about it that even though the other kids were still finishing theirs, he was so upset about the idea of not having completed it that he couldn't calm himself down enough to complete it. He couldn't read. He just kept looking around at the other kids to see who was done, and are they finished, and am I finished? What do I need to do? And it was so, and I'm constantly amazed, because I'm like, he has two of the most laid back parents ever. I have no idea where this anxiety came from, but he has this sense of correctness, of fulfilling requirements when it comes to external. Now in the house, I can tell him a million times, go do this assignment, go clean your room, go whatever. And it is in one ear, out the other. But when it comes to school, when it comes to a class, he feels like, okay, this is what they told me to do. And if I can't do it, I didn't do it, and I didn't finish. And he gets so caught in this mental loop that he can't get it done, because he can't get out of his own head. He can't get out of his own way. I'm not entirely sure how to deal with this, because I'm sorry, amongst the things that you learn when you're learning how to homeschool, a lot of it is just curriculums and classes and things like that. But how to just chill your kid the fuck out is not necessarily in a lesson plan. And then it makes it so that he has a swimming class that starts in a couple of weeks. I'm nervous as hell about that, because I'm taking a high anxiety kid and putting him in a pool for the first time. And this kid, my 9-year-old, he's 5 feet tall. He's a big boy. He will take some poor lifeguard out. And I'm intentionally not even going to be there. Like, I don't think I could watch. No. I actually know how to teach kids to swim. No, not going to do that to my kid. No, I would. Nah, no. I do not have. I can teach him to read. I cannot teach him to swim. But, yeah, so today was my reminder that even in the midst of learning how to make sure my kids, because now we have a 2-year-old who's learning to read, and he's learning sentences, and he's fully talking whole sentence, communicating, very verbal. It's like, okay, you're homeschooling age, all right, let's get it going. So I have 2 boys that I need to educate in the most effective way possible. But even if I wanted to put my big boy in a school system that already just traumatizes so many kids with the harsh requirements of tests and placements and things like that. No, I already see that my kid would wig out just walking in the door. Like, nah, no, I'm not going to do that. So I have to be able to do this for him. Like, it's a given. Like, I have no choice. Ooh, but ooh, he's like, this boy is the most laid back little tightly wound thing. And I'll learn to navigate it. I will. But in the meantime, it's part of the process. Okay? All right. That's it. Just talking.